capacity. It's building that relationship.
Think about the value.
Because you want to make that impact.
It can make you happy.
Elevate others around
Welcome
us.
to the Selling from the Heart podcast, your home for authentic, effective, and socially integrated sales strategies to help you master the art of selling. Join your co-hosts Larry Levine and Daryl Amy, along with some of the world's best sales thought leaders and practitioners, as we explore ways to help you grow your sales.
Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host Daryl Amy here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
You know what? Every day I wake up excited, inspired, because to me, every day is a Selling from the Heart day, Daryl. I'm just so fired up.
It is a great day today. And I want to let you know that we're thankful that you're here. Whether you are a longtime listener or this is your first time in the podcast, let me tell you, we're going to have a fantastic time today. And this conversation that we're going to have, you're going to want, this is probably going to be one you're going to hit pause and rewind on several times. I just have a feeling you're going to leave inspired today. And by the way, if you're new to the Selling from the Heart podcast, welcome. You've joined a growing community of sales professionals that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, adding real value. We call it Selling from the Heart. And right now, Larry, as we are getting ready to kick off round 2 of the intensive, it's so exciting to see the people that are joining in to say, yes, I want to develop the habits of consistency. I want to grow my heart capacity. And I'm so excited about what's going on. We saw incredible stories that are coming out of the first Selling from the Heart intensive cohort. And I can't wait to get the second started.
No, same here. And it goes back to what we firmly believe inside Selling from the Heart is that the inner work that you do fuels the outer success. It's the work that you do on heart, mind, and body will help catapult you to even greater success. It's how you start every single morning. Mm-hmm. It determines how you finish every single day. And it's just been what an eye opener it's been, Daryl. So good.
It is. This is the time for authenticity. And this is the time, as our friend Jack Hubbard said, authenticity without action is not authenticity. So if you want to take action, if you want to develop more heart capacity, and if you want more habit consistency in the areas that are going to help you drive the next level of success. And when we talk about success, we're talking about results, but we're also talking about fulfillment. We want to challenge you to join us. Take the next step in your journey with the 90-day authentic selling intensive. Go to intensive.2021authenticselling.com or just text the word heart to 21,000 and we'll get in touch with some details. Right now, we want to say a huge thank you to our friends at BombBomb. BombBomb is helping us rehumanize sales. And I'm so grateful for every day as I'm using BombBomb, Larry, I keep getting feedback back from people that I send these simple short videos to. It's incredible what an impact they have.
It just goes to show you, my opinion, how we're starving for that human connection. And what better way to bring yourself to life than the power of video, Daryl?
Yeah, we've got a brief set of ideas from our friends at BombBomb and encouragement. So let's take a look at that. And then we'll come back and we'll introduce our guest today for what's going to be a dynamic and powerful conversation.
Selling from the Heart is all about getting back to the basics of selling, relationships. You hear these words, know, like, and trust so often that it's easy to just pass them off. But the truth is these words are deeply rooted in humanity and in the way our prospects and clients make decisions. But it's hard to build trust and likability when your communication is left to plain text-based emails and messages that are not only lacking your humanity, but they are lacking your single best sales asset, which is you. So what if you could put you and your humanity back at the center of your communication. Well, that's exactly what we do with BombBomb. Simple video messages from your computer or smartphone to help you build relationships faster, communicate with clarity and empathy, and get you face to face with your prospects and clients more often in the places you're already communicating with them. Email, text messages, your CRM, Slack, and even LinkedIn. All of this is available to you to try free for 14 days. Simply go to bombbomb.com/heart, sign up for a free trial, and let us guide you to success with video and help you get back to selling from the heart.
All right. Thanks to our friends at BombBomb. Larry, we have a great discussion teed up for today. So why don't you introduce our friend Angel and let's dive in.
Before I welcome in Angel Ribo, I got to give a special shout out to a near and dear friend of ours at Selling from the Heart, such a kindred spirit, Dave Sanderson. It was shortly after, Daryl, the Authentic Selling Challenge. It was about a few days afterwards, I get an email from Dave, and Dave says, there's somebody you need to meet who's a kindred spirit, and I think you need to have a conversation with him. So I have much love and respect for Dave Sanderson. I said, absolutely. Had a conversation with Angel. And if there's anyone who lines up with our mission and what we're all about at Selling from the Heart, Daryl, it's Angel Ribo. Angel Ribo, we can't wait to have you join us on Selling from the Heart. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Daryl. And thank you, everybody who's listening to us today. It's a pleasure. And I really can't wait to start our conversation today. Thank you.
Well, you know, Angel, the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say to this. What does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Well, selling from the heart for me means establishing a connection. And establishing a connection also means that you have to do two things. It means that you have to be listening and you have to be talking. You have to be listening from your heart and you have to be talking from your heart. And I think that those are two very different things, but you have to learn how to do both of them in order to be able to be selling from your heart and eventually, connecting with the other person. I mean, selling is just exchanging some energy. You're exchanging energy. You're just exchanging the needs and the wants, and you're trying to help someone else or an organization to get something achieved. But at the end of the day, it really relies on this able to talk from your heart and listen from your heart.
Well, hey, Daryl, that's so good, because speaking from the heart, listening from the heart, it all ties back to a previous guest we just recently had on, Jason Van Camp. And he also said, when we asked him the question, what's it mean to you to sell from the heart? He said, it goes back to what's in your heart. And I firmly believe that the way you connect, you truly connect to somebody. In order to sell from the heart, you got to listen. You got to listen intently from the heart and speak from the heart. And that's what I love about what you stand for and what you bring to the forefront, Angel.
Yes, because I think also that there's, we tend to, as you know, we're all in boxes, right? I mean, we put everything in a box. Every aspect of our lives is in different boxes. And the relationship with someone that wants to buy from us, there's no exception. We tend to think that the buyers behave in a particular way and the sellers, we behave in a different way. And I have to disagree. I really don't like when I see this lists of checklists you have to do with the buyers. To be honest, the most important thing that you can do when you are in a sales call, any stage of the sales call, is to be fully present yourself and fully centered in your heart. And life's too short to waste it with the wrong people, but also life's too short to waste it doing the wrong things. For a change, why don't you just be yourself? You are yourself in your heart, fully centered when you start the conversation.
A whole concept of presence is so helpful. And, as sales professionals and leaders, and I know I want to talk in a minute about what you do with leaders and your vision for your life, but as sales professionals and leaders, it's so easy to get wrapped up in where we're trying to take things and where, what the goal is. And in the back of our mind, we got the pressure of, oh my goodness, I got all, this list of things to do, and I got the quota to hit, and, all of these things. But the whole gift of being present, the gift of presence is really, really critical. I'm curious, when you go into a situation, what do you do to center yourself in your heart?
I have to say that, well, number one, I mean, it's very easy to have this checklist, right? I mean, the decision process, decision criteria, the economic buyer, all those things that we all have in our mind. So the next step, what's going to be the next step? Will I be able to have an advancement? All those things that we salespeople have in mind every time we go to a sales call, right? But the most important thing, again, it's adding to the listening and to the talking is the silence. The silence. The silence is the source of your connection to your heart. Remember this. The silence is the source of your connection to your heart. If you are able to have some moments of silence before getting into a room, or maybe even you have your earbuds on and you are listening to some music, or music that brings you to your silence, to your breath, that's what I personally do. Because really, what's the point of going over the PowerPoint presentation for the 10th time, or what's the point of trying to go over the financials of that institution or the Facebook profile of the CEO, you name it. I mean, we can go and on and on and on. Things that we as salespeople, we try to have all the like baseball, right? All the bases covered, everything covered, but we forget the most important thing. Who is batting? And who is pitching?
Right. You gotta like that, Larry.
Well, hey, Angel, now you got to my heart because now you're talking baseball. But I want to see if we can peel something back here for just a second.
Of course.
You said something just a few minutes ago that I thought was absolutely powerful. And you said silence is the connection to the heart. Can you peel this back for our listeners just a little bit more? As walk us through what silence looks like for Angel when you're connecting to your heart. Can you share some of that with our listeners?
Yes, because, we have this chatter that never stops. That's who we are. Well, let me correct that. Let me take that back. We are not the chatter, because if we were the chatter, we would not feel the chatter. So that's very important. Okay. So I think that making this distinction is extremely important. We are able to listen to our thoughts because we are not our thoughts, because if we were our thoughts, we wouldn't be able to listen to them. Okay, so this is kind of subtle, but it's the reality. Okay, and that's the preamble I want to make about what being in that silence spot mean for me. So for me, means like really concentrating on something which is one of the most sacred things we have in our physical body, which is our breath. Breathing, aligning myself, just focusing myself on the breath. That's it, nothing else. And making sure that my breath goes first to my belly, because as you know, as we grow up, we lose the ability to properly breathe ourselves. So I just make sure that I focus on doing that. That's it, nothing else. I just close my eyes, I start breathing, and I focus on my breath for as many minutes as I can. Literally, I would say 5 minutes. And by doing that, and I start visualizing that everything I'm doing comes out of my heart, comes out from inside of me and not from outside of me. That's, again, obviously it's important, that room, it's important, that sales team, it's important, that buyer team, everything is important, but you have to be at your best. How can you possibly connect to the others if you have not connected with yourself before? I mean, I'm one of those. I'm one of those that deeply believe that we are all one, okay? So your flaws are my flaws. Sorry to, I mean, you know what I mean, right?
Larry's flaws or your flaws?
Hey,
I'm so
Angel,
sorry to hear that, Angel.
Let's rewind that one.
Sorry, I just had to, Larry.
Okay.
Oh, I love you, Jeremy.
So anyway, so obviously, you know what I mean. So, at the end of the day, it's like today. How many people do you know that are on fear right now, like in deep fear? Oh my God, right? But I feel compassion. I feel compassion for them. I feel compassion. So it's the same thing. How can you possibly feel compassion for the person that's trying to understand, if they understand you, so that you can provide them with a service or a product, if you first haven't made the effort to go inside of you to make sure that you're the most genuine and authentic self in order to serve that person? It's like you mentioned revenue several times in the introduction, right? And as you know, revenue is like these people that say, money is bad. And the same is with profitability. Profitability is bad. But how often in our sales call do we really care about the profitability of the other company, the company that's going to buy, when they buy your products or services. Because since the very moment that they place the PO with you, you are part of their problem, not of their solution. You think that they just bought the solution from you. You are so wrong. You are so wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You are part of their problem up until what they invested in becomes or starts to be, recovered, and then you are part of their solution. But it takes time. That's why it's so important to sell from the heart, because if you don't connect through your heart with the heart of the people that are in that meeting, in that transaction, you will never be able to go over that gap from the time that you are part of their problem until you are part of the solution.
Wow.
I
just want to pause, Larry. This is like, we should probably pause and breathe. I mean, this is like, this is one of the most practical things that we have talked about on the Selling from the Heart podcast ever. And that is, how can we sell from the heart? How can we connect to other people's heart if we walk into a meeting, if we click into a Zoom and we're not present with our own heart? I mean, that right there is so practical, simple, and powerful. And I just want to pause and say thank you for that, because to me, that is a simple, doable gift, as a simple, doable habit. We were talking about our intensive, where we're helping people develop heart capacity and habit consistency. Well, there's a habit right there that helps you develop heart capacity and be present. And that right there is pure gold, Angel. Thank you.
You are welcome. You're very welcome. And again, it's like, I'm not so different to the person that wants to buy from me. I mean, what's the difference? They have a role. They want to do their best for their company, right? It's like, profits are not bad. It's what you do with their profits that might be bad. It's like we live in an industry, or we live in a world in which, we try to put things in boxes, but really the things are not in boxes, because we as human beings, we are not in boxes. We are all expanding all the time. We are all expanding all the time. And let me give you a specific example. I was talking the other day with a 700 million company, and we're talking about the sales team with this company, right? And they were telling me, and I asked the senior vice president for sales, what's the main challenge you have with your sales force? The main challenge. He told me they don't know how to sell online through Zoom. I said, what? Yeah, they don't know how to do it. They were able to shake hands and be present, like face to face. They are not able to go and be genuine and authentic and have the same impact onto the other party as they used to do it face to face. And I said, so what are you doing about it? He goes, no, we hired this company, and then I think he said once a month we have this session. And I said, 1 hour, how many hours? He said 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, once a month. We're teaching them how to sell online. Obviously, inside myself, I was thinking, well, I'm not sure if it's going to work, but because it's only like teaching someone how to completely change how to sell in only 1 hour and 90 minutes for over, every 30 days. That's right. That's not much. But the point I'm trying to make is I immediately thought, I think that the kind of training is not a training how to be yourself through a camera, but it's how to be yourself all the time.
Right.
How to be yourself all the time, and how to be genuine all the time. I mean, we can teach, you're in the right frame, the right lighting, right? I mean, you have the right clothes with the right color and everything, but that's not what's missing. It's the authenticity. You mentioned authenticity in the beginning of the show, but the authenticity based on what? Inside of you, it's in your heart. It's reaching to your heart before every single sales call.
And this is so spot on. There's so much alignment here. I think it even goes deeper than that. In my opinion, is the connection that we have. I'm going to go back in time a little bit, Daryl, with this one, based on what Angel had said. Is if you had a hard time connecting authentically and relating to people face to face, obviously it got exposed during the times that we've all been in. But I'd like to flip this around and say, hey, it's those sales professionals and those sales leaders that can leverage the power of virtual to further connect and relate to people, so that when they do go face to face, the impact's 10 times greater. But we're going to have to take a step back. And in order to connect and relate, goes back to the very beginning. It's about us becoming self-centered and connecting and relating to ourselves and getting rid of the head trash that a lot of us have over a lot of this stuff.
Totally, because imagine, I mean, the good things about being face-to-face is that you have certain systems. Yes, you have a notepad, you have someone, you have a wingman, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can have many different people helping you. But when you are by yourself in a camera or many people in the camera, it's a different story. When he was telling me that his sales team was being taught like skills to be in camera, right? I was thinking to myself, no, it's not about the skills of being on camera. It's the skills about being fully themselves all the time. That's why selling from your heart becomes so relevant today. Mm-hmm. Because today there's nothing more relevant than being in your heart when you're doing anything online. There's the rest of skills like details, blah, 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 you can fix them. But how do you teach someone to be, in their hearts all the time while trying to sell? That's the key. That's the key. That's why, when we had our conversation, I mean, Larry and I, and now Daryl, we have come, from not knowing each other to having these amazing conversations together. It's just because we are right now in this very precise moment in the history of humanity, literally, this has never been more relevant. Never. And obviously, we all have to sell, right? We will never have to stop selling. We will always have to sell. So, hey, this massive change that we are all contributing to, it's based on our ability to reach our heart consistently. I mean, there's no other answer. Sorry to be so dramatic here, but
we're 100%. We are 100% aligned on this, and there's so good. The presence is critical. Another thing, another P word, if we can bring it in, is purpose. And one of the things I love about your message, your story, is, business is personal, but business is also about having a purpose. Share with us a little bit about what you do. I mean, this story of how you connect I'll let you tell it, because you're going to tell it way better than me.
I'll tee it up. It's how Angel connects the unconnected.
Correct.
Yes, beautiful.
Thank you. No, thank you for being so gentle in your introduction again. So basically, I was working for many years in Latin America, and I was always going to see the C-level executives of those manufacturing plants, of those large corporations, any industry, doesn't matter. At the same time, I was going to see and meet these people outside their manufacturing plants. Guess what? There was a lot of poverty, because those manufacturing plants are in the suburbs, outskirts of cities, rural areas. So guess what? I was continuously meeting with the most poor people and the most powerful people. That's why eventually, I had a spiritual experience in 2015 that was very clear to me that the reason why I had been so continuously connected to the most powerful people, the decision makers of those large corporations in the continent, and at the same time the most powerful, was because I had to do something to connect them. And exactly, so my mission statement is actually to connect the unconnected. And that's why I launched my nonprofit. Is called Wisdom for Kids. And that's the purpose of my life and the purpose of my business. 50% of the proceeds of everything I make with the CEO Confidant brand actually goes to Wisdom for Kids. And what we do is we help underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using their local resources. So, it's like, what a privilege. When I started this with two other people, I'm co-founder of the foundation. I was always saying to myself, if it's not me, who's going to do that? Who's going to be in a better position than myself to do that? And then, so I look for two friends, and we launched it, and we've helped more than 1,000 families already.
Fantastic. And that, I love that, because now business, and this is what's so it's just at the core of my heart as well. And it's just so great, beautiful to hear that story. Now we're not just being present, but we're walking into every day with a purpose. So the purpose goes beyond profit. The purpose is making an impact in the world. And by the way, just thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. And I love what you said. Is like, who else is going to do this?
Exactly.
Right. And it's the question that comes to every single one of us is, okay, what's your purpose? And look at the problems around you. Who else is going to deal with these? I love it. I love it. And this is the core of Selling from the Heart, Larry, that you're always talking about. You talk about extensively in the book. Is we've got to connect. We got to know who we are, be present, but we also have to connect with a purpose, helping those who need help in our society.
Yeah, it's so good, Angel. Hats off to you for all the work that you do, because I know you lead with a servant's heart, and it really, this conversation ties in. It just oozes chapter 6 of Selling from the Heart, because I'm a big, huge believer where you find sense of purpose is by giving back. And what better way to give back than to lend a helping hand, lend your knowledge, lend a piece of yourself to people who need it the most, whether that be the people in your community, whether that be a not-for-profit organization that's near and dear to you that may not even be in your community. But when you can learn how to give from your heart, then you'll start receiving things that actually touch your heart. And in the short period of time, we've developed a massive connection, Angel, between our mission and your mission. But it's around two words, and I'm a firm believer in this, and it's been said throughout this podcast, is the way you connect and relate to somebody immediately is going to determine what happens next, in my opinion. It's not to say that game's over, but the faster that you can connect, the faster you can relate, the faster a genuine conversation starts to happen.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that, Angel?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. When you meet someone and say, oh, it looks like we've been friends forever, this is not the exception anymore. This is the rule. This is the rule. So again, on wherever we are, it doesn't matter what our role is in the sales, in the sales world, whatever we do, if we are, entrepreneurs or we are sales executives, it doesn't matter. It's establishing that connection. It's being at that place. It's looking for that connection. It doesn't have, again, it comes from authenticity. It comes from being genuine and being yourself. And the other person, the other party will resonate or not. And if it doesn't resonate, it's okay. Again, I believe that when things have to happen, will happen. I'm not saying that I'm not a hands-off guy. So my main mantra for business is taking perfect action now. So, I'm all in all the time. But again, it's this, which is today the exception of, I met that guy. Oh, it looks like we were always friends. It's because it's our human nature. It's our human nature. Today, or throughout our conversation, I've had chills 2 times. And that happens to me when we are onto something which is really, it goes above us. 2 times. Right. I'm having it right now again. It's like when we're talking about a specific, part of kindness that we are tapping into, something that is really definite and it's really important for whoever is listening to us, because we are here to connect people. We are right now connecting. Many people are connecting the dots in their lives right now. And that's what we're here for. We are here to help people find those connections, because also for the last 12 months, this, we've lost connection. Who hasn't lost connection with someone or with many people? Let's reconnect. We are here to connect. Honestly, regardless of our differences, it doesn't matter where you stand. It doesn't matter. We always wanted to be around each other. We always wanted to, to joke, and we always wanted to pay a round of drinks, whatever that was, It is our nature. It is our nature. Let's go back to the foundation. Let's go back to, one of the most important beauties about me being so in touch with kids all the time, with Wisdom for Kids, is that being around kids all the time makes me more childish. Mm-hmm. And that is such a blessing. That's such a blessing. Such a blessing. Because I go back to the origin. I go back to the origin of who we really are. I'm having examples every single day of who I am really, and who should I be again.
That's
Because-
so good.
Oh,
Wow.
this is so good. I just thought of something, Daryl. You have no choice in the matter on this one. But Angel, you have to do something for us, only just because I love your accent.
Okay.
Can you just do something before we say thank you? Can you share with us what's it mean to sell from the heart in your native language?
Okay.
Just for
That would be awesome.
Just quick 30-second snippet of Angel. What's it mean to you to sell from the heart in your native language?
Okay, now you want me to do it now?
Please.
Yeah.
Ok, bueno, pues para mí vender desde el corazón es vender desde un punto, desde un momento, desde un instante, desde una situación en la que tú estás escuchando desde el corazón y estás hablando desde el corazón. Con lo cual, lo que quiere decir eso es que tú tienes que estar continuamente en contacto. Te recomiendo que estés continuamente en contacto en tu corazón y nunca pierdas esa guía. Que siempre antes de hablar o antes de escuchar, siempre vayas en tu interior y siempre estés en el corazón como el lugar de referencia fundamental cuando tú estés vendiendo.
That
Yeah.
was awesome. So good.
Thank
I
you
love
so
you.
much.
Love
I
your
had to ask,
passion.
so
This
thank
is
you.
so what an amazing conversation. Angel,
you.
thank you so much for investing us today. Thank you for who you are.
Thank you.
What an incredible gift. This has been a true pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
The pleasure has been mine. Thank you for having me. And obviously, thank you everybody who's watching us today. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm sure you will be a frequent guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast. Have a super day, Angel.
Thank you, and you too.
Larry.
Oh, Daryl, wow.
Oh
Wow.
my
Wow.
goodness. Woo. I mean, what a great conversation. And I just have a sense that this is one that we're going to be unpacking for a long time together. So I want to challenge everybody. You know, we would like to end this with an action item. I think, Larry, what Angel shared about taking the time, taking the deep breaths, putting on, if that's quiet, if that's putting on some inspirational music and reconnecting with our hearts before we dive into a conversation, before we just click into another meeting, whether that's 5 minutes or even if it's 5 seconds of just becoming present. Imagine the difference that'll make, especially in our two-dimensional Zoom world, if we reconnect with our hearts before we dive into a conversation.
It's so good. And I'd like to layer just one more thing inside of what you just said is I would encourage everyone out there as well is grab a sheet of paper and sit down, right? Sit down, no music, no nothing. It's just you, a piece of paper and a pen, and write down and connect to yourself. What's your purpose? What's your vision? What's your mission? Why is this so important? Angel talked about connecting the unconnected. Now, what better way to connect to executives in corporations, mid-level decision makers, whatever the size of the corporations you all are calling into? People connect based on a sense of purpose, a mission, a vision. That's our challenge this week, is uncover what your mission, vision, and purpose is. So
good. Well, Larry, this has been a fantastic time together today. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Check out the Authentic Selling Intensive. We'd love to join you for a deep dive into heart capacity and habit consistency with a group of peers who are just like-minded. Go to intensive.2021authenticselling.com or text the word heart to 21,000. And until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep adding real value, reconnect with your heart over and over again throughout the day. And most of all, sell from the heart.